feel like you're making great money but still broke? Today's guest, a certified cash flow specialist, says the problem isn't your income, it's your cash flow. She's here to help you ditch the budget, calm the chaos, and start spending guilt-free with a plan. Welcome back to At Home with Tracy Mullen. I'm your host, Tracy, realtor and wannabe designer. Today we're talking to Angie Ross, money coach, financial educator, and creator of the anti-budget method. She's helped people take the stress out of spending and finally feel in control of their money. Whether you want to get out of debt, invest in real estate, call me, or just stop fighting about money with your partner, Angie's got practical, judgment-free advice to help you get there. Angie, oh my God, I'm so excited about this show.
Me too. And I love that you're like, call me.
Call me.
You know my number. Here we go. Investment properties.
I don't get to talk about real estate very often in this show because I'm talking about things that I love that make a difference in this world, but I don't necessarily talk about real estate every day.
Well, we're going to talk about it a little bit because I have a couple of investment properties. So there you go.
Okay, well, do tell. So first of all, how the heck did you become a money coach?
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. It was out of necessity for my own finances. I was a personal finance teacher for 20 years at the high school level. Right. Great job. Loved the kids. Got a little stagnant right around COVID and I needed a way out. But I had what I call the golden handcuffs, which is good job, pension, the summer's off. Aren't those lovely? Mm-hmm. So I kept looking at my bank account and going, how are we going to get me out of this? So I started to run a system that I now call the anti-budget. We found $2,000 a month that we were spending on crap we did not care about, which funnily enough was about half my take-home pay. So that helped me. We reduced that spending and it helped me go part-time teaching and get part-time into the business. I took a certified cash flow specialist course. I do have a finance degree. And so I started to apply this system to other people, my clients. And the rest is history because now I'm booked. I left teaching for good.
Ooh.
Yeah, bought a couple of investment properties, actually started using our money more effectively towards the things we actually care about.
Well, let's talk about two things. First of all, I didn't even know they taught personal finance in high school. Are things changing finally?
I mean, I had to build it from the ground up. So I took my certified financial planning courses, incorporated all that material, but they did give the option for me to run the class. So yes and no, it's not mandatory, which it probably should be. But at the same time, there was the option. So if kids chose it, they could take it, at least at my school. And I did pass a lot of that material around to some of the other teachers at other schools as well. So good news.
Right. That is really good to hear. Mm-hmm. So what is an anti-budget system? I've never even heard that word.
Yeah. Well, the reality is that people usually try budgets and they fail for about 79% of people. And I consider myself a mathlete.
Mathlete. I like that.
Coin it right now. And as a mathlete, I don't like a 79% failure rate on anything, right? And so I started to kind of play around with my own money to figure out how to get a better system that would actually work and stick. So most people stick to budgets for the first month or two, much like a diet, and then they fall off the rails. And so the anti-budget actually kind of reverses the whole way that we do that. So the process is reversed. First, we put your money and allocate it towards the things that you care about. And then whatever's left over, you can spend guilt-free. And so we've taken care of your priorities. So it could be things like your RRSPs, your RESPs, TFSAs, debt repayment, maybe vacation. We take a lot of vacations at my house. It's a priority. So we really are automating that. And then what's happening is whatever money's left over after we've done all those automations, go ahead, spend it on what you love.
Wow. So, okay, I have to start from the very beginning because most people that I know are not savvy with their money. They don't even have a budget. Like I'm an orange personality. I don't have a budget. My hubby has a budget, but I don't have a budget. Where do people start?
Yeah, I actually have a free anti-budget workshop that I have on my website. People can go and download. It's 11 minutes because I'm a little bit, I struggle to pay attention to things for a long period of time. So I made it nice, short and sweet. And they can go and download that and it helps you through the whole anti-budget system. But if you're just looking for one thing to do, I would literally go and automate savings for something that you care about. One simple step. So let's say it's, we want to take a vacation every year to the tune of, I don't know, let's say $6,000. Well, we're going to automate $500 a month towards that. Right when our paycheck comes in, we're going to automate that savings over so that we cannot spend it. So I have a whole list of things that are happening in my specific finances that are being automated. But start with one, see what happens. You'll open up that savings account down the line and be like, what the hell? I can go on a trip, right?
Right.
So it really forces you to prioritize where your money is going.
I remember being a single mom, and I remember going to the grocery store and not being sure whether my card was going to work. And so that's how a lot of people are living right now in the economy that we're in. We are in somewhat of a recession or moving towards a recession, and times are tough.
Yeah.
Do people even have money to save right now? Or can they always find money to save?
Yeah, I'll use my own personal story. Like literally, we were making pretty decent money. I was a teacher. My husband was working at OPG, doing some management in there. And at the end of the month, there was nothing in our bank account. So I would always say, oh, at the end of the month, I'm going to save whatever's left.
That's what most people do. Yeah.
That's right. Go to my bank account. There's nothing there. Great. Next month, I will save whatever is left. Never anything there. And so literally, it was really frustrating because I knew we were bringing in decent money. If you do not direct your money to where you want it to go, it'll find a place to go.
Right. So in real estate world, we call this the be, do, have. Once I have more money, then I'll be more generous, or I'll be more successful, or I'll save more. But what you're saying is build the plan, and then you can be whatever you want to be.
Exactly. You have to direct the money. So what most people are doing is having the money direct them. And you need to direct the money. And so once I actually flipped the script and we had to sit down and work out a plan, what are our priorities? Because the other part to that is a lot of people are spending unconsciously on things they actually don't give a crap about.
Right.
So you might be spending a lot on takeout. Well, is it bringing you the value that you want it to bring you? Maybe it is, right? No judgment here. Maybe it isn't. For us, it didn't really bring us anything.
Right.
And so we took a look at the things that we wanted more of, which was vacation. We wanted to max out our TFSA and our RRSP. We actually wanted an investment property. So that's when we purchased our Mont Tremblant Airbnb. For anybody looking to go to Mont Tremblant, you know how to find me.
We'll post those in the notes as well.
Yes. But we actually decided this is what we want to do with our money. But now we need to build a plan to do it instead of just, we're going to manifest it, which don't get me wrong. I like manifesting, but there's action steps that we need to take to get there.
Right. Well, okay, let's talk about baby steps. So the first thing you said is let's automate the savings. What's a second step that somebody can do to kind of get themselves organized around money?
Yeah, a really great thing to do is do a 7-day spending audit. And I do not believe in budgets and restrictions. What I want you to do is go out, have your regular week, and at the end of the week, take a look at what you spent on. Just go through your Visa statement, go through your bank account. It'll shock you what you've been spending your money on, because I have a ton of people that say, I have no money, the economy's bad. We just kind of talked about that, right? It's rough out there. But then when they go back and look at what they spent their money on, it can be very shocking. And that's what happened to us. We did a 4-month assessment of where our money was going, and $2,000 a month on average was what we were spending on crap that we did not care about.
Right. Well, think about it now. How many times have you seen the Amazon truck come in your driveway, or you're going to Starbucks when you can buy a coffee for cheaper or have a coffee at home, right? Yeah. Like, are you telling people they can't do this stuff anymore when they're budgeting? Like that? No, it's not important. What if it's pleasure for them?
Yeah, that's fine. So what actually ends up happening in the plan, because I don't know if you know this, but I'm a golf addict. I think you know that.
I know, because I am too.
Okay. Yeah. So in the plan, what we're doing is we're telling you can spend guilt-free X amount. So after we have allotted your money to the things you care about, whatever's left over, it's a free-for-all. So I golf a lot. I spend a lot of money on golf. It literally does not matter for my finances as long as I stay within the certain barometer, which it's quite high. So don't tell my husband. No, I'm just joking. He knows. But as long as I stay within the barometer, I've already taken care of our investments. I've already taken care of our investment properties. I've already taken care of our ESP for my 14-year-old who would rather spend the money at Sephora, but I say no. So, really what it does is it frees you up so that when you are spending, you know the amount that you have to spend in a guilt-free fashion. And when you are spending, you're not stealing from your future priorities.
Right. So let's talk about parents for a minute. So parents always want to take care of their kids. It's just the reality of where we are, whether you're my age or you're much younger. Parents are putting in their RESPs. So they're taking care of their kids, but are they taking care of themselves? So how do we make sure that there's a balance here?
Yeah, I agree. So like we are putting in, I think RESPs are great because you get that 20% government grant. If someone wants to give me free 20% money, sign me up, let's go. Right?
Give max.
That's going to save me down the line when she's in college or university or wherever she decides to go. And she's like, hey mom, I need more money. Well, great. We had that 20% grant saving our rear ends, right? So I personally do like to do that. And I do max it out every year to the tune of $2,500 a year for the max. But for my own personal perspective on retirement, we have handled that as well. So we are maxing out our TFSA TFSA. We are maxing out our RRSP. Where do we cut back? It might be on some of these other things that we are taking care of our kids with, like Sephora, Aritzia. Like, the parents out there, we're spending a ton of money on our kids that could be going towards their education. And at the end of the month, we're saying, oh, we don't have any money for their education, yet they got new Aritzia sweatpants and a sweatsuit and new Uggs and new whatever. And you're like, okay, well, there's got to be a balance there.
Right. It's interesting because, I can hear some conversations replaying in my head from when I was a kid. And part of how we either spend money or save money is based on when we were kids. Let me ask you this. What messages did you hear from your parents when you were a kid around money?
Oh, my mom is going to be so mad. Anyways, I'm going to tell on her. So she only talked about money if it was negative. And my mom is amazing as a human being. She's great with money. She took care of the family money. My dad, they have a big farm. She took care of the business money as well. Very successful at all that, but didn't really talk about it in a positive way. So the times I would hear about it was like, it's been a bit of a rough year. Christmas might be a little bit rough this year. And I actually thought that we were moving. Like we have to sell the house and we're moving. I'm 10 and I'm like freaking out. Yeah. There was never any like positivity around it. Like we never heard about the great years.
Right.
We only heard about the negative years.
Okay.
And so I've actually flipped the script. Like my anti-budget itself is built on abundance, not scarcity.
Right.
It's we're going to put our money towards the things we care about and have more of them versus restrict. Right. And so I think I learned from her that it doesn't need to be negative. Sure, there's going to be tough times and we do need to handle it, but we also need to talk about when it's good and we need to talk about it more. So sometimes money talk is taboo. I think kids need to be involved in money conversations.
Yeah. So again, my mom's listening. Sorry, Mom. But the same thing, when we were growing up, money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. We don't have any money for that. So there was, again, the same as you, is a lot of either no conversation around money or putting our head in the sand, burying it and not wanting to deal with it, which is how I've reacted with my money a lot of my life, is making it and enjoying making it, but not necessarily knowing where to put it or how to do it. So do these conversations that our parents had with us impact how we challenge our money? Because if you're doing this now, like your kids are going to benefit from this conversation, but they could also grow up going, I don't want to be like my mom.
She might.
She will.
You never know, right?
But I hope she takes the positive from this, right?
Well, actually, we have her. She runs her system. She kind of has a little mini anti-budget herself.
Good for her.
So we did this. I did this mostly. My husband's lovely and he goes along with me. But I did it mostly. And so it started with a back to school shopping trip one year where we went, and every time we went into a new store, it was like, Mom, can I have this? Mom, can I have that? And I had actually set a specific dollar value for that shopping trip. But then, the mom guilt kicked in, because she consistently was asking me for more, but it's just this, or it's just another $20. It's just, so I finally realized, you know what? I'm going to give her control. So the next time that we did back to school shopping, I physically gave her the cash. I said, here's the cash for your shopping. I'm not going to tell you what to buy. I literally don't care if you spend it all on chocolate, which is not what she did. Yeah. But you go and you do your thing. So there was one specific moment that really stood out and I'm like, this is working. So we went into Garage. She was trying on jeans. Her cousin was trying on jeans, that whole social thing. Her cousin was going to buy the jeans. She decided, I'd like to buy the jeans as well. She doesn't even wear jeans. Right. So I'm like standing there going, this is a bad decision, but whatever. I said I was not going to tell her what to do, right? $85 later, she walks out with the jeans. We're walking down the hallway. This is the Oshawa Center. And she's like, Mom, do you think we could go back to Garage and take my jeans back? And already. She didn't get very far. We're not very far at all. And I said, well, what's going on? She's like, I think I can get similar jeans at H&M for half the price. And then I'd have like $40 more to use on something else. And I don't really wear jeans. Yeah. So I did not have to say a thing. She was becoming more conscious about her spending, which is the whole point. And that's kind of where we started her with. So I do the same thing for back to school. And now she actually gets a weekly amount of money. She's in high school, which I cannot handle, but that's fine. She's in high school and she gets a set amount every week to spend, to go out with her friends, to go to the movies, to buy food. And once it's gone, it's gone. And I literally never get asked for money from her because she knows what she has and she has to manage it. Right. So we've talked about the parents and the kids because that's really important. What about as the couples come together? And we both had different sets of parents. We were both raised differently. And now we have challenges because one person wants to spend money one way and the other person wants to save money one way. Tell me about how you coach people that are having trouble communicating or having trouble
getting on the same page.
Yeah, I think first you need to put your ego down. And that comes from a place of a story between my husband and I.
Tell us, do tell.
Yes, I will tell you. And it's about me and my ego. So it's not him.
I was just going to say, first we have your mother's story. Yeah. Now we have your husband's story.
No, this is actually about me. Tell. So he, on his 40th birthday, he wanted to go for a ski trip to Whistler. I said, sure, awesome. Ski trip, Whistler, go have your fun. 41st birthday came around. He's like, so I'm looking at going out west again. I'm like, wait a second. Is this becoming an annual event? Like, when did we switch this from 40th birthday to annual event? So that he went, and I was resentful, and I'm like, where the hell are we getting this money from?
Right.
That's fine. Fast forward to the next year, we come into the same conversation. Right about then is when we started to look at implementing the anti-budget. So we were actually going through and some of the questions, and one of the questions was, what is your thing that you look most forward to every year? And his was his ski trip. And so it actually hit me that I was taking away the thing that he cared the most about, or at least making it harder on him. He was becoming resentful. It was becoming a money issue with the two of us. And we made good enough money that it shouldn't be a problem. So I'm like, why is this $5,000 or whatever he was spending, like, causing all of this tension in our marriage? And so what we did was actually built that into our spending plan. So we save money every single month for a ski trip. It's automated. And it used to be that in around October, November, I would hide in my office and hope that he didn't find me and ask me about the ski trip. And now he comes to ask me and I'm like, the money's there. Go ahead, do your thing.
Right.
So I think to answer your question is you have to recognize what your actual partner values and cares about and allow them to spend on that.
Right.
So mine's golf. So he lets me spend on golf.
Right. So this is interesting because I'm listening and I'm like thinking about my hubby and I. And the way I grew up was hearing these negative things around money. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to be like my mother and dad. Because I actually thought, my dad worked at GM. Yes, we had 4 kids, but I actually thought, I didn't think we were poor. I never thought we were poor. I thought my parents were cheap. And I thought, when I get older and I make money, I'm not going to be cheap. So I've given a lot. I've been very generous and I've given a lot away. Fast forward to meeting Dennis, my hubby, and he's the oldest child. He's got to be responsible for everybody. He wants to take care of everybody because that's his style. And he's a saver. So the two meet. And now it's trying to find this balance of how do we dance and have fun and enjoy life without overspending on what he would call like something frivolous.
Right.
Right. But like you said, if it's in the budget and it's in the, you don't call it a budget, when anti-budget.
Anti-budget. Once you put it in the plan, the person who is watching the money or who is more concerned about the money feels like, okay, it's part of the plan. So now I feel like I know, right? It's not the unknown anymore. There's a slush fund for skiing. There's a slush fund for golf, whatever that is. And it really settles things down because you can see the numbers and you can see it still works.
Right.
Everything still works out as long as that's in the plan. It's once we start to like pretend we're not going to go on the ski trip and then he comes around the next year and I'm like, oh, damn it. Here he comes again asking for the ski trip, right? So,
You know, Angie, the one thing is, especially I think of young couples, because I know how hard it is to manage the budget. And I see my younger friends and my younger, nieces and nephews, and I hear the stress that they're under. And I don't want to undermine or feel like that's not important, because in this conversation that we're having right now is like, as a young couple with young children, trying to find that $50 sometimes a month is not that easy. What's the first step that they can take when they're arguing so much about money that they can't even see what's good? Their whole life becomes around the stress around money. It's such a big stressor.
Yeah, I would say the first thing is to stop winging it, because a lot of times they don't have a plan. And I've heard before, well, I don't make enough money to have a plan. No, it's more important when you don't make enough money to have a plan.
Everybody should have a plan.
Every single person needs an anti-budget.
But not a budget.
No, an anti-budget. You don't need to be tracking every dollar that you spend.
No.
Like, once we figured out your fixed expenses and the things that are happening and what you want to happen with your money, really the only thing that I track at my house is that guilt-free money. And we make sure we're sticking to that every week. This is our guilt-free money. Great.
Right.
So with a couple, they may not have as much guilt-free money.
Right.
It's going to have a limited amount of guilt-free money, but at least they know if we stick to this, we're not going in the hole every month.
Right. So I'm at home now and I'm looking at what I spent like last month, and I'm looking at my dollar amounts. What are they supposed to be spending every month on housing?
Yeah. So
Is it just housing, or is there a lot lumped under that?
there's a lot lumped under that. And I know we've talked a little bit about Ramit Sethi, and he's great. And there's percentages. I don't love percentages, and I'll tell you why. Everybody's life and what they care about is different. So when you say like fixed costs need to be, I think he has like 50 or 60%.
55% under.
Is your fixed cost. And for me, it depends. Right? I wouldn't want to go much higher than that because it's going to bleed you dry, to be honest.
Right.
But I've seen a lot of people have much lower fixed costs, but they love their vacations and they love their whatever, and they'd rather not spend on a house because they don't need a big house and they don't care about a fancy car. And so what do you actually care about? That's the first thing I always ask, because then we want to build your plan. So when I'm working with someone, I actually do a 4-month analysis of their numbers. I take in their bank statements, credit card statements, their mortgage information, line of credit, everything. And I say, okay, here's fact. Here's where your money is currently going.
Right.
Is that where you want your money to go? Do you want 60% of your money to be going towards your house and your cars? A lot of times cars are a big one. Is that what you want? Do you value them? And half the time people will say, actually, that's a lot of money. I want to do X, Y, and Z with my family instead. I'm like, great, we need to make some adjustments. And then we start to pull that apart. But I think his percentages are fine. And like, I love him. Don't get me wrong.
I do too. I enjoy following.
Yeah. But I think sometimes we need to have a little bit of variance for people and what they care about. Because if your money's going towards the things you don't care about, you're never going to stick to a plan.
Right.
Like me, I feel wealthier now than I did as a teacher. I make less per year than I did, but I get more golf. I get more vacations. I get more free time with my family and flexibility. And I've cut out all of the convenience foods, the retail, and I was using that to fill a gap because I really was not feeling so great in my job and I wanted out. Well, now I don't need to do that. So we've saved a ton of money because I've made those choices.
There's a lot of things that have happened in the last, since COVID, where people are, shopping online, and it's just, we're filling some kind of need.
Exactly.
That, it doesn't really make a lot of sense in the grand scheme of things. We don't need all this stuff.
I agree.
Like, even when I look at my closet, I think about all the stuff that I have in there. We need to pare down. I did a good job in COVID, but I feel like now I need to do it again.
Yeah.
We feel like we have so much stuff.
I agree with you. Like, Amazon was at my door yesterday. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
Amazon still comes to my house, right? But a much limited way. And if you actually look at the spending, like when I do that analysis for people, their minds are blown. I just had someone come in, they were spending $2,000 a month on food. That was just restaurants and convenience food, not groceries.
Right.
Groceries was in addition to that.
Oh God. Yeah.
So
a lot.
they could not believe that. And we looked at their transactions, and then I said, do you really like what are some alternatives? And so now they're doing a little bit of HelloFresh, a little bit of some other options to make it easy on them, but not to the tune of $2,000 a month. So we basically found them back a whole bunch of money that night they can use towards things they actually care about now.
Right. So, Angie, let me ask you this. When do people come to you? Like, how far are people gone down the rabbit hole before they actually get to someone like you?
Yeah, it depends. So I do get a lot of people that have maybe some money on the credit card or lines of credit, and they're sick of paying interest, and they're like, I can't seem to get off this hamster wheel. Can you help me?
Right.
I get that. And then I also get a lot of people that are very successful in life, and they were like I was, where's the money at the end of the month? Right?
So at the end of the month, they're questioning, like, how do I make this much money?
Exactly.
And I have nothing left at the end of the month. Yeah.
Exactly. And for me, it was like frustration because it was impacting my life choices. So I couldn't see a way out of teaching because it had a hold on me, the fact that we weren't managing our money properly. So we didn't have any credit card debt, line of credit debt, nothing like that. We had a mortgage, of course, but we didn't have any of that. And I was frustrated enough of just winging it with my money that I'm like, I need to sit down and do something different. So I do get a lot of people like that as well.
Right. So either people are like way out to lunch in terms of, I just can't get past this. I have so much debt that I can't see a way out. So you've got that kind of person. What about young married couples? Wouldn't this be a great gift for somebody to give to a married couple?
Absolutely. They're my favorite, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So they're my favorite. Couple reasons. I always like young people because I like the energy.
Well,
I
you were a
teach.
teacher.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
I used to teach young adults. So I love that age group. I also feel like they have the most to gain. So if you think about opportunity cost, like, you put your money into coaching, it's an investment. If they do that when they're 25, 30 years old, how many years are they benefiting from that? Right? Versus if someone comes to me when they're older, they're still going to benefit, but they don't have the compounding of all those years of benefit. Because when people work with me, what I'm doing is I'm building them their anti-budget and building them their plan and leading them through it. And then they're going to see that return on investment. They can use it for the rest of their lives. The numbers are going to change, but the structure is not.
Right.
So my goal is really after 6 months, they know the structure and then they're on their own. They're
Well,
flying.
think of it this way. They've got, when you have money, you're spending 2 or 3% of that for financial planner.
That's
so
right.
why don't you, before that, you start with the coaching and get your plan, your anti-budget organized, and then it'll just make it so much better for you going forward.
I am the first step. So you said that exactly, because I actually took my certified financial planning courses, but I didn't want to charge for investing. It's not my forte. I like helping people in their day-to-day now. And what I found was missing is that people making good money, they have nothing to invest. And I'm like, well, why don't they have anything to invest? Their cash flow's a mess.
Right.
Okay, if we clean up their cash flow, now they have maybe $500 or $1,000 a month that they can go put into an investment. So wait a second, we need to do their cash flow first.
Right.
And so that's really how I got thinking about this from a business perspective, for my own business and helping people to better their money.
Right. Well, think about how many young adults will be coming into their baby boomer money in, 10 to 20 years from now. And what I'm finding is that people don't know how to manage their money. And they don't know who to turn to for support. There's always somebody in your family even that's good with their money, an aunt, an uncle, somebody that you can at least turn to start the process.
Yeah.
What do you want people to know about the service that you offer? Like, what can you do for people?
Well, I think there's a couple things. The first one is that I'm unbiased. And what I mean by that is I don't sell insurance. I don't sell investments. So when people come to me with their finances and I give them advice, it's from a place of, this is good for your wallet, not mine. Right. And so if I'm saying, oh, you should really take a look at this insurance, it's because red flag.
Yeah.
Something's going on there, right? So I'm not a salesperson. I'm not selling that. I'm providing you services. So yeah, you pay me for my services, but I'm not trying to get you into something else to make me money, right? So that's really important for people to know. And the other thing I want to say is the return on investment that people get, and people have a hard time with this one, but real estate people shouldn't.
I can do the math.
Right? And well, a lot of people say, well, I don't want to put out the money right now. I'm like, correct. You do have to put out a certain amount of money. That's how a return on investment works. You can't have return on investment without making an investment.
Right.
So you have to put something in order to see that come back to you. So usually it's things like interest reduced because we eradicate your debt. So I just had one couple pay off $40,000 of debt in 7 months.
Wow.
Well, if they're paying, let's say 10% interest on average, because they had some credit cards and they had line of credit, that's $4,000.
Right.
In a year that they would have saved. So things like that. We also see things like being able to maybe get themselves into investments that they wouldn't have before. And so having the cash flow to actually invest and then go out there and make maybe 8 to 10% on their investments, depending on what they're investing in. And so they wouldn't have had that if they didn't do the coaching.
Right.
And so that's what I provide. The other thing I provide is a lot of stability. So they know exactly where their money is going. We feel that calm and the mental load just reduces, because I know, everybody's so busy and the mental load keeps coming up, like our heads are going to explode. Money doesn't have to be like that.
Right. But you know what? This is a service that people don't hear about. That's why this is so important. I'm going to tell you why. People have diet coach, nutrition coaches, fitness coaches, financial planners.
Yeah.
Like, I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, I spent $1,000 a month on my real estate coach for most of my real estate career.
Yeah.
And the first step maybe I could have had was, well, what do I do with my money?
Yeah.
Right? Like, how do I organize myself?
Money impacts everything.
Yeah.
So I think the other problem that I'm going to call out on my own services is that most financial industry services are commission based.
Right.
So people are not having to pay up front.
Right.
And they also are not necessarily tracking what they're paying. If they did, they might be kind of shocked.
Right.
So with mine, you are paying up front. You know exactly how much you're paying. So it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, because people don't want to put it out of pocket. But realistically, it costs a lot less to hire me than it does to have your financial planner for however many years. And if you're actually not getting any additional advice with that, is it worth it? So what is that investment worth to you? And financial planners are great, but sometimes people aren't at that step yet, and they need to go with me first.
Part, yeah. And it's interesting because I'm listening to you and I'm like getting so excited about, I'm thinking about all the parents that are listening right now and they want to bail their kids out. They want to give them money. But what if you gave them this gift of figuring it out for themselves?
Yeah. And the other thing I will say is that money, especially if it was like a wedding gift or something, money is the biggest cause of divorce. So if you set yourself up with kids, newlyweds, who really go to see a money coach, figure out a money system that works for both parties, right? a lot of times people come together with their money as they get married and they don't know how to decide how to handle that jointly. They've had their separate money. They don't set joint financial goals. Huge issue. You're not going to reach any kind of financial goal together if you don't actually have a plan for that financial goal. And when you actually do set those financial goals and meet them, it strengthens your relationship.
Right.
So giving them that gift, you're setting them up for more money harmony in their relationship.
Well, what I loved about your story about you and your husband is you figured out your big why. Why do we want to do things differently? Why do we want to save money? Why is it important for us to downsize some of the things that we're doing?
Yeah.
And your big why is that you wanted to invest in real estate and you wanted to have a plan for your kids' universities, right?
Yeah. And I wanted to golf more.
And you wanted to golf. Passion project, golf. Have fun.
It's true.
And quit your teaching job, really.
That was the big one.
Yeah.
And I think what happens too with people and money is they're winging it. So they don't have a big why. The why is I need to get to the end of the month without going in the negatives.
Right.
And a lot of people aren't doing that. But why? What does it matter to you, right? If your money's sitting at zero in your bank account, but you don't have a reason to save, you need to have a reason.
Right.
You need to have, you're right, a passion project, or you need to have a reason to actually be motivated to follow a system and a structure to get you to where you want to go.
Right. Imagine getting rid of the stress. Imagine not having the money stress anymore because now you've got a plan. You've got Angie helping you get a plan that could really make so many people's lives so much better.
Yeah.
Because money does make the world go round. And
It's in
why not, if you have an abundance, why not it be you?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and that's the thing. I built the anti-budget out of abundance, not scarcity. I do not like the scarcity mindset, the restrict. That's what a budget is, a traditional budget. You're tracking every dollar that you spend. You go to the gas station to get gas and the price went up and now you're feeling guilty. Well, you needed to get to work. Like, what are we wasting our mental energy on here, right? And so we want to build from abundance, forget about scarcity, put more money towards the things we care about. And of course, it's not a free-for-all. We have to have a system and a way to make that happen. But what happens is month after month, as you're following this plan, my favorite thing to do is to open up my Wealth Simple app. It has all my savings accounts in there. And to look, right now, there's 20,000 in my vacation account. Great. Where are we going?
Yeah.
Let's make this happen.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you. Like, what apps are you Wealth Simple, is it a free app? I think it is.
It is a banking app. So it's an online bank. So the reason I use Wealth Simple for my savings accounts is they pay interest on them. There's no fees and you can open up multiples. So I have a vacation account. I have a kids activity account. I have Christmas account. I have a golf account, a skiing account.
Right.
And so I am earmarking my money so I know exactly what it is for. Car repair and house repair as well. So I'll give you an example. This past week I had to get some new tires because I blew a tire, whatever, whole thing. And I had $6,000 in my car and house repair account.
Right.
So I don't have the stress now when that car repair comes up. Sure, I don't want to pay the money.
Right.
Like, it sucks to have to deal with the car repair, but the money's there. I just go and pay it and move on with my day. There's zero mental stress.
Right. But I want to talk to the audience right now because the audience, not all of them are going to be as detailed and organized and as I call it a gold. There, right? So there's going to be a lot of what we call oranges listening right now that don't want to have a plan. They don't want to have 7 accounts. They don't have to, right? This is just how you're making your life simpler. But they don't, for them to be able to save, they don't necessarily need to have 7 accounts at Wealth Management.
No, they don't have to. But what I find if you only have one account, because this is what I used to do.
Right.
I had one slush fund and it would be great. And I'd see a big number and go, oh my gosh, we're going on a trip around the world, right? Like, let's get your bags packed. We'd go on the trip. We'd be on the way home from the airport and the car tire would blow. And I'd look at my husband and be like, how are we paying for that? Like, we just came from a trip around the world.
Yeah.
How are we paying? And he's like, we blew all the money.
Yeah.
All the savings money went to that.
True.
So the reason that I earmark it is so that I really know what it is for. It also gives you quite a bit of freedom doing that. Because like I said, I open up mine and it says vacation account, 20,000. I know I can spend 20 on vacation without worrying about stealing from the other areas of my life.
Right.
Same with Christmas. I have about $3,300 in there right now. I spend about $3,600 on Christmas. So I save $300 a month. Guess what? I can go and spend that guilt-free on Christmas and know that I'm not impacting our financial goals when I do that.
Wow. That's amazing. I'm glad we had that conversation though, because I do know that some people would be overwhelmed by hearing that.
Yeah. Once you get it set up, you automate it.
Right.
So when I work with people, when we first do it, we do the analysis, we fill in those numbers. I do all of that for you. And then I'm like, okay, this is how we're going to automate your savings. You shouldn't be in your bank account. I'm in mine twice a month.
Right.
Like I literally pay myself twice a month for my business, which is another thing. I help a lot of business owners, but I pay myself a set amount every month for my business. And I go in and at the next day, my money is gone because it's been automated. So I don't have to do that.
Right. That's the easy part.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you want to share with people that are listening today about, they're sitting on the fence, they don't know what to do, they have no money, they're in this scarcity mode.
Yeah.
What encouragement can you give them?
Yeah, there is hope. You can always do something.
Okay.
So even some little things, like sometimes people will have lots of debt. And I said, okay, I just had a client, they had money sitting on credit card. You're paying 25% interest. Let's see, do we have room for you to move that to a line of credit and pay 10% interest? Or could you get a zero balance transfer card? A lot of people don't know about those. You can transfer your balance onto a zero balance card for usually about 12 months. It's not perfect, but if you're saving yourself 25% interest for a year, you're stopping the bleeding and getting a little bit of breathing room. So I share those types of tips with people. I also give free 30-minute consults. So someone can come in and chat with me and I'll give them some suggestions in the consult to just get them going in a positive direction, because really it takes like one small step to get you out of that kind of money funk and get you moving in the right direction. And a lot of times it has to do with like interest and looking at the debt and helping them with ways to get out of that.
Right. Well, you know why I thought it was so important today for you and I to talk? Because I think if we can help just one person get out of the rat race, get out of the stress or the overwhelm, or, the relationships between money and their fear around asking for help. Some people don't know who to turn to.
Yeah.
Now they got somebody. They got you.
Well, thank you. And that's why I share my stories, because the worst thing is when you got a button up finance bro who's talking about how perfect he's been with his money all of his life and whatever. And I'm like, oh, please. And so
it's not true.
It's not true. And so I like to share my husband and I had money fights. Yep. I had no money in my bank account at the end of the month. Yep. I've been there. And so, and that's kind of hopeful for people as well to hear that and be like, whoa. And now you have a couple of investment properties. You got yourself out of teaching. You did X, Y, and Z. And it didn't take that long to really accomplish some of those things. So I like to give people hope and say, like, I've been there, hand up, making good money, nothing to show for it. And it doesn't have to be this way.
Right. And it's never too late, right?
It's never
like
too
whether
late.
you're like my age, late 50s, or you're, younger person, like it's never too late to start.
I
right?
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You're going to see the impacts. My clients see the impacts within the first 3 months. They're always telling me, oh my God, I feel so much lighter. Right? It does not take a long time.
Now, do you do individual coaching, group coaching, couple coaching? What kind of coaching can we expect from people?
So I do some group coaching, mostly if that's individuals. So I will not do couples in a group. The reason for that is usually there's a dynamic with couples. So I do individual coaching for couples. I do individual coaching for individuals as well, including business owners. So I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Profit First, but I run that system with business owners as well, so that they can set themselves up where they can actually pay themselves a salary, save their taxes in advance, and keep their expenses in order. And so I do that as well. And so a lot of it's individual. And usually what happens is I get them to book a 30-minute call with me so I can assess what's happening, see if I can even be of assistance. I also do a lot of free workshops for people as well. So sometimes I'll direct them to those. But if they're a good candidate, then I kind of offer them, hey, this is the best thing for you, and then tell them how that would work.
Right. That's amazing. Well, Angie.
Yeah.
This has been a fantastic conversation today, but have I forgotten to ask you anything that you think is really important for people to know?
Well, my belief is that money is a tool to create more joy in your life. So if you do not feel like your money is doing that, book a call.
Yeah. One of the things that I actually read, you said something about, you often say more money without a plan just makes the chaos more expensive.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if you're bringing in really good money and at the end of the month you have nothing to show, it's opportunity cost. If you, like, for example, our $2,000 a month that we were spending on crap, what were we able to do with that? I was able to take that. We were able to basically cash flow our Mont Tremblant Airbnb for a period of time to get it up and running. We were able to do that. Now it goes to investments. It got me out of teaching. Think about if I hadn't done that and we hadn't done the assessment and reduced the $2,000, where would I be?
So that was the first step you and your husband did, was figure out.
We did an analysis. We did analysis of 4 months of spending and say, where is our money actually going? And that's what I do for people when they work with me. The first step, analysis. Pull in their numbers, say, okay, here's where our money's going. And then it gets into, is that what we want? Like, let's be intentional, because what I find with people and money, they're not intentional. You're right. People have personal trainers. They're being intentional about their health. right? People have business coaches. They're being intentional about their business. Guess what flows through all of it? Money. Why are we not being intentional?
Oh, yeah. And we talked earlier about the whole restriction, the grip on money. But think about when we do a diet.
Yeah.
We're doing the same. We're restricting our calories. We're looking at food and we're salivating, watching this sweet come by because we can't have that because we are, we are on a restriction.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing around money. Like it's the reason why the grip is so tight for young couples today and anyone. They're just their focus is so much on the negative around money, but nothing about the joy or the positivity about money, right?
It's true. And the other thing about budgets that really sucks, speaking of restriction, is most budgets are very reactive, not proactive. So you type in your expenses to a spreadsheet, awesome, that you found online, downloadable, great, whatever. You type your expenses in. You have great intentions. I love that you're doing that. And then you go to reconcile at the end of the month and you went over in all the categories. What stopped you from going over? Were you actually tracking everything that you spent? Probably not. That's a lot of work. Most of us don't have that kind of time. So when I use my anti-budget, I have a proactive tool. It's literally, I'm telling you how much you can spend per week, and I'm telling you how to monitor that without tracking every dollar that you spend. And you are proactively reducing your unconscious spending without having to write down, I spent X at the gas station, I spent Y. And so budgets don't work. That is the main reason why, because there's a lot of work. In tracking every little dollar.
So you're moving people from stress, negativity, and scarcity to joy.
Exactly.
Abundance.
Exactly.
And fun.
That's it.
That's it.
You should be having fun with your money.
So much easier.
So much easier.
Thank you so much for coming in today. But hang on. Ooh. We have to do a little rapid fire.
Okay.
It never ends up being that rapid, though. So hang on a minute.
The unrapid rapid fire. I like it. Okay.
But we end up in conversation again.
Got it.
Rapid fire round. One money habit that changed your life.
I would say automating my savings.
Okay. Favorite splurge. You already said it today.
It's golf. It's golf.
Most overrated financial advice.
I actually think that just stick to a budget or stop buying lattes, please.
Yes. No restrictions.
No.
Coffee, wine, or both?
I'm going to say typically both, but I've had vertigo for a year, which is a whole nother thing, and I can't drink wine right now. But one day she will come back in my life.
Yes, she will.
Yeah.
I'm coffee and wine too, just so you know. Best purchase under $100.
I was thinking about what I could purchase for under $100. Honestly, it still might be golf, like a good golf round, but usually it's over $100 now. So I don't know if that counts.
You have to walk that round to go with that $100.
I do have to walk that round of golf. Yeah.
One thing you wish more women knew about money.
Well, actually, I wish they knew it wasn't their fault, that we were never taught a system. And so we have a lot of shame and guilt around money and not being good at money, and drop that because you weren't taught a system. But now it is your responsibility to go check out my anti-budget on my website, because realistically, how are we supposed to know better? Right. And so drop the shame and guilt and really do yourself a favor and go learn a little bit more now, but it wasn't your fault.
Thank you. App you can't live without.
So I would say Simple, but I would also say Credit Karma. It's a great one. It tracks your credit score. And what it does is it actually gives you specific things to do to increase your credit score. So this would be good for real estate people too, when they're looking at buying a house and they need to get their credit score up to borrow. It gives you very specific ways to get that credit score up. And I just find it super user-friendly.
And retirement or rental properties.
Well, how about retiring in my rental properties?
That sounds like a good plan.
Okay.
One thing I forgot to ask you earlier is the transition for women who have lost their spouse and their spouse has handled the money and handled the finances and handled the insurance and done all the banking. How can you support a woman going through that? Because there's lots of them.
Yeah, so I still do set up their anti-budget system with them, but then we also because what they will do is provide me with their bank information, and then we would work through how the system that they're going to use to get on top of it. Because that's a very lonely place to be. So a lot of times they don't have anyone to talk to who's unbiased.
Right.
And if you go to the banks, I know we need the banks, but you may be getting sold something like, oh, you could put the money here, you could put the money there. You need someone to talk to who's going to give you some unbiased advice and be on your side. And so I would come in for that.
Perfect. Angie, thank you so much for sharing your story. If you're ready to ditch the stress, calm your cash flow chaos, and finally feel in control of your money, go connect with Angie. Angie, where can people reach you?
Well, I have a website, angierossmoneycoach.com, pretty easy, or Instagram. I'm on there all the time sharing free tips. So it's angieross.moneycoach. I'm super creative.
Perfect. I like it. That's all you need to do. We'll drop all her links in the show notes. Until next time, budget less, breathe more, and remember, your money should work for you. Thank you.
Love that.